folks, we're so proud to be standing with all these organizations and partners and make the world better at this moment. Keep the fires lit. I'm handing over this fire of our ancestors and mothers to Shira Kline, to our sisters of Fearless Fire, for a Havdalah like never before. With love. Keep the fires going.
She's down, she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with a catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she's got both feet on the ground, and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds, and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. Thank you, Shira Kline. Thank you, Neshama Carlebach. My name is Naomi Less, and we're going to bid our beautiful Sarah Sakalik and our beautiful Rabbi Amichai adieu. We'll see you later. The sisters are going to be on now. And as night falls and Shavuot ends, we reflect on Revelation. The idea that everyone was present at Sinai. Do you feel you were there? To what extent were all voices present in that moment? In the many moments of community and leadership and Torah from that point forward, I believe that women's voices were always, always there. But they've been downplayed or even erased or eradicated from history. Well, tonight, we're going to share the rise of women's voices now, celebrating shared leadership, collaboration, elevating women's personal Torah with multiple flames in that gorgeous candle that Amichai shared with us. These women you will meet tonight are on fire. Welcome to Sisters Count, Fearless Fire, Havdalah.
What an honor it is to stand with all of you as our journey to ascension continues. I think that perhaps the greatest challenge, in addition to all the other challenges that we hold, is believing that the light is ours, and that even when we are not standing with everyone in community, even when there is no thunder and lightning and the shaking of the heavens, that light is ours and that we are worthy of it and that it does not go anywhere. And even when we are afraid, even when we don't know how we will continue, yet somehow we will. And here we are holding our own Torahs, our own light, our own revelation. Please continue to sing. Please continue to believe. Please continue despite it all to hold all the facets of what this gorgeous life is. For without the darkness, how would we know when we are standing in the light? This is Havdalah. Please join wherever you are, in body and voice and spirit. Hine el Yeshuati Eftach velo evchan Ki azil zimrat ya Adonai Vayehi li Yeshua Unshavtem mayim besason Mi'mayne al Yeshua Adonai Yeshua Amcha V'chatecha Selah Adonai Tzvaot Imanu Mizgav lanu Elohei Yaakov Selah Adonai Tzvaot Ashrei Adam Boteach Bav Adonai Hoshia Melech Yaneinu Yom Koreinu LaYehudim Ha'ayta Ora V'Simcha V'Sason V'Ikar Ken Tiyelanu Kos Yeshua Odessa U'Shem Adonai Ekra.
Thank you, Neshama. You know, we're in a time right now, a time where there's a lot of fear. I know we're going to hear from Rabbi Emily soon, who's got a lot of noise coming out of her windows because of folks at Barclays protesting in anger and in fear. We're in a spot of fear right now. And there's this idea that Rabbi Nachman of Wroclaw shared with us such a long time ago that people interpret as the most important thing is not to be afraid. As women, that's a complicated thing to say. But being fearless, I don't think it means that there's not fear. Fear less, meaning how do we do less active fearing? What do we do with that fear? How do we transform it? Just as fire transforms a dark room to light. You think about it, you almost have to have fear in order to have courage. And so we invite you at home, find a candle, go for it. Everybody's got a candle in their house. Somebody regifted you a candle. I know they did. One of those, scented candles. I know, we all know. Find that candle and light it. And we're gonna keep another wick lit tonight in honor of someone who surely, and I'm looking at Shira, the deep relationship you had from our mentor, who surely had a lot of fear being a trailblazer, but had the courage to stay the course. As a result, she lit so many fires and changed the face and the sound of Jewish music forever. And y'all know who I'm talking about, Debbie Friedman. So we invite your sacred melody, Debbie, and honor your flame as we invite two more lab shul leaders and singers to join us. Rabbi Emily is lighting her fire right now, and Greta Rosenstock is going to be joining us as well. As we say these 4 sacred ancient blessings, that invite us into more and more and more and more and more presence. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach haolam Borei peri hagafen Borei peri hagafen. So as Rabbi Emily is doing, we lift our glasses in a toast in the presence of the infinite. We savor the blessing of transformation from vine to vine. A breath, an inhale. In the presence of the infinite, we breathe in the fragrant spices of life. A blessing. In the presence of the infinite, we witness the many, many faces of fire. What is the difference between fire and air? One needs the other to exist. And yet, if you put too much air onto fire, it ceases to exist. If you put too much air onto fire, the fire goes out. This last blessing, this blessing of distinction this week is all about how much air we're putting onto the fire of justice, which needs it so badly. There are helicopters above my apartment building right now. There are people in the streets right now, and there's too much air being forced upon their fearless fire. May we all, as we move from sacred to normal, as we move from this time of Shabbat, this time of Shavuot, to a place of normalcy, may we continue to feed that flame with our love and not with our fear. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Pause. In the presence of this infinite, we embrace the balance of distinction between sacred and mundane, light and dark, wrestling and belonging, work and rest. In the presence of the infinite, we pause now to elevate life's moments, both holy and ordinary.
This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Oh. Thank you so much, Rabbi Emily. Thank you so much, Shira. Thank you so much, Greta, my beautiful spiritual sisters in ritual here at Lab Shul. We're going to say goodbye to you until later. You're never far. You're always with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about sisters, actually. So there was this idea that happened when quarantine happened. I went into quarantine pretty early. And because I was diagnosed with COVID. I didn't know it, but we thought we had it. And so therefore I went into quarantine. And there was a lot of fear happening. And when I go to a place of fear, I don't like to suffer alone, let's be honest. So I gathered with my sisters, a bunch of them, right, Neshama? We gathered on a Zoom, and we gathered in our WhatsApp group. Yeah, and we held each other, and we laughed, and we cried, and some of us drank cocktails, whatever it took. And I was so inspired from that space. I felt so healed from being with my sisters and from supporting each other and from that spirit of togetherness, that I just texted everybody in the WhatsApp group, knowing that we were going into Pesach, which is a time of narrowness, right? A time of being conscious of going into narrowness. And I had a lot of fear as a mother, being in this place as a content producer, as a musician, right? Neshama, we gig. This is how we make a living. And all of a sudden, whoosh, everything changed, right? Gigs dried up. How are we going to navigate? How do I use it? All this equipment at home and do these online. I mean, it was a place of a lot of tightness, narrowness, and fear. And I just texted the group and I said, hey, if I did an Omer count, to count the days between Pesach and Shavuot, and did something with our sisters, would you all do this? And there were, 5-6 of us on that WhatsApp.
And we all said yes.
You all said yes. They all said yes. And that is the theme of this. Every sister kept saying yes. And I reached out to, and that's how this sisters count thing was born. I came up with this name and I was like, are you guys into this? And I put a spreadsheet together and people literally filled it in. I couldn't believe it. Everybody said yes. And then I reached out to my dear friend Rochelle, who has done an amazing work with Lab Shul on graphic design. And I said, could you put together, a logo or something for this? And she created the most gorgeous logo. And and graphics and created these beautiful templates for our photos. And then I reached out to a video editor on Facebook and said, can anybody, like any women out there who want to like do this? And Rebecca Berlin said yes. And so I reached out then to 24 women, Neshama being one of them.
Yay.
Yes.
So
yeah. Everyone said yes. I mean, that's what this was about. So what we did was we ended up every night for 49 days, we brought in sacred senses of presence for each of those weeks of counting, the sacred act of counting, with this double entendre of what does it mean to count? Do our voices count? Do sisters count? And we put together this beautiful video that Rebecca Berlin put together for us. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to show it tonight. So I apologize to my sisters who I said we were going to show it. But we do have a link for as soon as this is over, you can pop onto the link on YouTube. And it's going to be in the chat room. And we can even show a couple of these photos of who these sisters are. Bits of Torah. Neshama, you had some gorgeous learnings. And when you watch this all in sequence, your mind is going to be blown. It's literally going to explode. Your heart is going to explode because women do count and our voices do count. And so I'd like to invite in more of our sisters that were part of this project. And there's going to be there's a part 2 to this, which is that out of these videos came something else that was birthed. But I'm going to bring in some of the women that helped to birth this right now too. So I would like to bring in my sister Aviva Chernick from Canada, all the way from Canada, joining us. And Aviva has been, some of you have seen her, she's been a recurring Lab Shul Soul Spa guest artist. Her sacred melodies have been taking us through Shabbat since the beginning of time, or when Lab Shul began. We've started using her Bowie Kala. You for sure have heard it if you've ever been to a Sabbath Queen. And Neshama, one of our, literally a guest artist since the very first minute of Lab Shul. Do you remember that?
I do. And Amichai and I had a big laugh because it was my very first gig with Lab Shul and my very first gig as a non-Orthodox person. So it was my own coming out. It was great.
Well, welcome again and again and again and again. And I want to bring in my sister Elana Arian, who I've known forever and then some, and who's part of our sacred ritual team of leading our B-mitzvahs. She's part of our ritual leadership and leading our B-mitzvahs as part of our Raising the Bar program. Elana, I'm so glad you're here. And we have used her melodies over and over and over again. And Shoshana Jedwab, an incredible priestess, one of the founders of the Cohen movement. Shoshana, I'm going to invite you to turn on there you are, my sister, who, by the way, is not just a Lab Shul ritual artist, but she's a veteran storyteller. She is old school with a K. I mean, she's there. And lastly, new to Lab Shul, this is her first appearance ever, but my sister, a producer and musical artist, Beth Styles, who said yes. And she said a big yes. I was so inspired, Beth, I'm going to invite you to turn on your video. I was so inspired by your incredible, there she is in her studio in the center of all of where it happened, right? It's like the Holy of Holies, right? Her Miriam's Table Women's Seder, virtual online Women's Seder, was attended by more than 1,000 people. I mean, it was insane. And you held that space together and invite us all in. These 5 women, I liken them to the biblical characters of Benot Tzlofchad, of the daughters of Tzlofchad, who challenged authority, who dismantled for the moment the patriarchal systems, who talked back truth to power. And these women are doing that same thing in so many different ways to so many different systems, spiritually, politically, and musically. So without further ado, Shoshana Jadwab, bring us in. I'm going to invite you to unmute your gorgeous self.
I remember your love and your kindness when you walked with me through desert wildness. My chant, I remember, comes from the book of Jeremiah, but I flipped Jeremiah's critical of the nation script and made his words into a love song to the Shekhinah. I wrote, I remember, at the Kohenet Hebrew Priestess Institute as a celebration of the divine feminine and all who presence her in their bodies, in their deeds of magic and healing, kindness and justice. For me, feminism is not finished. We have work to do. And if we all want our sisters and mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers and illiterate ancestors to count, to really matter, we have to remember them. I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you. I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you. How you walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. How you walk with me when you were young and free. How you walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. How you walk with me through the sand and sea. Lech teich acharai, acharai, amidbar. Lech teich acharai, yeretz lo zruach. Lech teich acharai, acharai, amidbar. Lech teich acharai, yeretz lo zruach. I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you. I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you.
We will remember them. Right, Beth? Beth Styles.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much, Naomi, for inviting me, and Labshul and Shoshana. That was beautiful. So over the past few days, I actually had the great privilege of working on your project, Sisters Count, our project. It was fabulous. Everyone sent in their selfie videos, and I was just taken by listening to each one's voice, each one with its own beautiful, unique sound. And some were softer and cautious, and some were bold and added extra things. But when I put it all together, it created this incredible holy sound that just knocked me out. So, it's a funny thing when you feel like your voice doesn't matter or that you don't count. Remember that all of our souls are needed to make that holy sound. And not only do we count, but perhaps we actually have a responsibility to show up and be like a kind of a loving sanctuary of sound for others. So I offer this song that I co-wrote with Deborah Jacobson. Ve'asuli, 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 midash. Ve'asuli, asuli mikdash veshachanti veshachanti betocham betocham ve'asuli betocham betocham ve'asuli. We have built a harbor of peace, a sacred space, a holy place. We have built a harbor of peace, a sacred space, a holy place, and all who enter this sanctuary of love forever will dwell in our hearts. Ve'asuli, forever will dwell in our hearts. Ve'asuli, forever will dwell in our hearts. Ve'asuli.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. And thank you for saying yes. We'll get back to a little bit more about what that meant to be in your Mishkan there, in that sacred sanctuary. My dear Aviva Chernik.
Ay, 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 yeah, 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 oh. Yeah, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh. Each creature has its own song. You can't sing for her, but you can sing along. Each creature has its own song. Beloveds, the Piasetzner Rebbe, the Rebbe of the Warsaw Ghetto, taught that yes, we were all together standing at the mountain at Sinai for revelation, for illumination. And yet he taught that each of us actually receives our own Torah, that there's a personal revelation for each and every one of us. Something for us to receive, to interpret, to unpack, and to move out into the world. And not only that, but nobody else can receive your Torah or my Torah. We have to do it on our own. So how do we do this? Well, revelation is partnered with liberation. And liberation is what we started back at Pesach, at Passover, all the way back, every day as we've been counting towards revelation. It's also what began all the way back in Egypt. And we look at it every day. It's the project that we are involved in. It's also why people are outside protesting. But what is that liberation? It is the unbinding, the unleashing, the releasing of the grips
that hold us back, that keep our voices down and keep us from being fully expressed in the world. And I just want to testify that this is a struggle. It can be a great struggle to trust one's own voice, to drop into the present moment and feel surrounded and supported, to bring your Torah forward and move it into action. And even as this person who uses my voice all the time, I often find it very difficult to bring my voice and the truth that is stirring in me. In other words, my Torah, because my voice is so choked by backstory that was passed down and down and down and down and down. And it wasn't mine in the first place, but it's mine to end. So what do? I turn and I see. I am surrounded by sisters who fight to free themselves and their bodies and their voices every day. They're my models, but they can't sing for me. They can hold my hands and they can walk a line alongside me as I bring my Torah into the world, into action. This world needs my voice to sing out. Oh, that's your part. Sing out is your part and then ring out. Okay, here we go. This world needs my voice to sing out. Sing out. Yes. This world needs my voice to ring out. Ring out. This world needs my voice. This world needs my voice to be full and clear and true. This world needs my voice to sing out. Shavua Tov.
Beautiful week to you too, Aviva. Aviva, I just want people to understand that Aviva was just on like a 4-day silent retreat. And that's what came out of the silent retreat. So I don't want to tell you to go back into silence all the time, but please go back into silence all the time for all of our sakes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Elana, liberation, voices. Let's do this.
Thank you for that reminder from all of these sisters, powerful, strong women, reminding us the strength of our own voices and that each of us has a voice and that it can change the world. thanking God for making us in her divine image and reminding us that one of the most divine things that we have is our voice, to stand up for what's right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world. I will fight for the truth. I'll stand up for what's right. I will use this strength I've been given and be alive. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world. Love you all.
So Elana, you can't see the screen. I have a second screen over here where I can see everybody, but people were out of their seats, jumping, dancing, singing back to you. Shosh was playing along drums. I could see her doing it. You know, we're with you.
I feel it.
Thank you for bringing that anthem to us, and thank you for letting women's voices rise and rise and rise and rise.
Thank you.
And bringing that light in. And Neshama, you're gonna bring us to an even. Come on, let's keep going. Let's just keep going, can we?
Amen. Elana, you are one of my rabbis. So, oh my goodness. Thank you for opening my heart. Thank you, all of you, for existing. Thank you, Naomi, for your hope and your vision. We learned that on Shavuot we receive two Torahs. One is the Torah that we receive on Sinai, which is ours. It's ours whether we know it's Shavuot or not. You're a human being. You were here and you receive the word of God, and that's just what you get. But the second is not automatic. The second Torah is the Torah of our mistakes. And that is the Torah that we have to rip ourselves into shreds to receive. That's the Torah that we have to fall down hard and fall apart and crack in half. And then we receive that Torah. Friends, there is no other time in our history I can't imagine, although, oh my God, I can't imagine. There were other painful times where a great pause like this has existed, where we can all sit and reflect and hear the Torah of our own mistakes. There has never been a time where we can really, really assess what it is that means something to us, where we let the things that just don't matter fall away, and where we can come together as one soul to stand up taller than we were even before we fell down. So on this Shavuot, when we're walking away from the light, may we know that the light is ours, because it is our story, it is our Torah. Just like Aviva, just like you said, we are holding each other up. We are holding our Torahs high. We are learning from our mistakes. I was so privileged to work with the holy Beth Styles, and thank you so much for your, oh my God, I have like so much love for you guys. I just want to like jump through the phone and hug you all. Bethy, thank you for your gorgeous Ve'asuli. This is a song that Beth and I created together with another amazing artist, Trisha. This is a song for our children, specifically for my own children. May we rise above, may we transcend the darkness. May our days be brighter and God shine on me. May the light continue to shine, friends. And when you don't see it, it's just because you have to stop and stand up again, because it is always there. May our days be brighter. May we rise above. May we hold each other with dignity and love. And may our words reflect you. And may our voices climb. May the heavens hear us. May your light shine and shine on me. And on all who need, shine it on me, Lord. And I will receive, shine on me. It's the air I breathe, oh Lord, shine on me. May we treasure all our children and the preciousness of life. May we transcend the darkness and reach for the divine. Please hear us. May your light shine and shine on me and on all who need. Shine it on me, Lord, and I will receive. Shine on me. It's the air I breathe, oh Lord, shine on me. Through the clouds and through the rain, through the storm, I praise your name. I pray your light will shine on me. So shine on me. And on all who need, shine it on me, Lord. So that I will receive. Shine on me. It's the air I breathe, oh Lord. Shine on me, oh Lord. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine on me. Amen.
Man, a woman. Oh, Neshama, you lifted me up personally so many times in dark and fearful places and just lifted my spirit. And I know you did that for every single person here on this live cast. And just a little hint here, we have a back room that y'all can't see. And I just want to let you know that the sisters are all here. And we were, jamming out to every single one of these women. And it's like torture to not be able to be in the same room, holding hands, hugging arms around each other. And that's just a little modicum of what everybody is feeling in this quarantine. So thank you to all of you for lifting us. And this project just kept propelling itself. And I really want to take a moment right now to, I know I'm not supposed to, I'm not emceeing right now. I'm not doing any of our telethon pitches, but I'm going to go rogue for a second and just say that since the day that Lab Shul was born, and then in earlier iteration storytelling, we have been championing women's voices. We have been looking for the places where women's voices have not been heard, have been repressed, oppressed, distressed, missing, absent, misrepresented. And we've had that in a lot of places, in our storytelling, in our translations, in removing the word melech, which means king, and it's patriarchy and hierarchical and male, to the word ruach in our blessings. And I just want to lift that up and say that is part of our ethos, and it's part of our pathos, and it's something to support, and it's something to honor as well too. So I'm just honored to have this space to be able to talk about this stuff. So thank you to my Fearing Less executive director, Sarah Sokolic, who is my role model and dear friend, and to Amichai, Rabbi Amichai, who is a feminist as well too. And I want to also share that this project, when it just, from those seeds, just kept growing and growing and growing. And I got on a Zoom call with a bunch of these sisters just to say, like, this Instagram campaign is going so fabulously. People are really tuning into this. I feel something else needs to happen. And we all got together on a Zoom, and then it just evolved, because we're weavers. That's what women do. We weave together. And then Aviva, in the middle of it, just started singing to us a chant. I count, you count. It was like, what happened? And we all just like, oh, that just happened. And then Aviva passed it to me, and then I passed it to Beth. And then Beth passed it to Shoshana and back to me, and we worked lyrics, and then we passed it to all 24 sisters, and Shoshana got her drums, and Elana, like with a newborn, was like running around with her cameras and everything, and every single person here counted. And we created an actual new piece of music built off of this momentum. Beth has been literally in the studio for the last 3 days straight. That was her Shavuot experience, y'all. It was sacred. It was holy. It was different than she'd ever experienced, right? And I honor you, Beth, and what a fantastic partner you are. And so I want to share with you these 25 women. These sisters count. Here's the world premiere of the music video. Sisters count.
I count, you count, she counts, they count, we count too. I count, you count, she counts, they count, we count too. They count, we count too. We count too. We will
tasting every side with open hearts. Watch us fly, lighting up the sky, living beyond all boundaries, grounded still. Sisters count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count, we count 2. Our secrets and secrets, they count beauty. Entering splendor. I count, you count, she counts, they count, we count too. I count, you count, she counts, they count, we count too.
Folks, this will be available to you on YouTube. Don't worry, we'll be pushing it out through our Instagram portals, and you will see this video again. But a deep, deep sense of gratitude. I want to honor in our last minute here that we feel so privileged in some ways. First of all, we are all women who are white, and we have a space to use our voices. And I want to acknowledge that we have that privilege here. And this video is for all women. We want to make sure in this quarantine that women who are not safe and who don't have that safe space or to be able to use their voices to call for safety, we're holding them, and we see you, and we'll do everything we can to help you. And thank you. In the words of Sarah Bareilles, say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. Sisters count. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that participated. Back to you, Rabbi and Sarah.
Yes.
This is Amichai back in my home in another corner. Thank you so much, Naomi Less, Shira Kline, Rabbi Emily Cohen, Greta Rosenstock, our Lab Shul team, and all the amazing artists who came to join us: Neshama Carlebach, Aviva Chernik, Elana Arian, Cohen and Shoshana Jedwab, Beth Styles, and the Women's of Sister Count for being with us for 49 plus days and helping us kiss Shabbat away with fearlessness and into the sweetness of what's next. Thank you so much. This was gorgeous. And we are going to follow this fearlessness. Thank you, Naomi. Mwah. Into more art and more ways to inspire us into a great week. We've got a great video coming on. Reveal-a-Thon, full force, hour 2.